Google Scholar. So when we were in the library, one of the options for research was Google Scholar. And we looked at a couple of other locations to sort of see what comes up and what we can look at. But let's go see what we find with Google Scholar. As you can tell, it's not something that we have to use the library for, but it isn't just Google. If I open a page and I say Google, it's going to show me something like that. Or if I do Google search, notice that it just says Google. Even here in the address, in the tab, it says Google Scholar versus Google. So notice that it says articles or case law. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to go with what I've been looking up, literacy rates, United States reading. Oops. I should type in states. It's going to fix that for me. So notice it gave me things like 1880 to the present. So that could be something really useful in terms of just sort of like looking back and seeing what has happened. Remember, not every source is going to be something you need, dozens of. You may be looking at something and looking sort of back through it. But what did we talk about with things like search terms? We wanted full text. We wanted to be able to see everything that came up. So what happens here is that it's going to give us access to a lot of ideas, but we may not be able to access them. So that first thing, remember the librarian. We wanted to be able to talk to them. So this one's just going to open up in JSTOR each time. I'm just sort of checking some things out. It says, hey, you need to log in through your library. So that's part of what I want to do here. Notice that it didn't open a new window, so I'm going to have to go back to get other items. But it gave me a lot of good information here. Only I now have to figure out what to do with that information. So it gave me an abstract. It started to show me sort of what's happening. And it gives it to me in French as well. So it gives me lots of interesting things. And I've decided that I want this article. So what I'm going to do is grab this. So notice over here earlier when I looked at different items, it just gave me everything all nicely neat and packaged. That is not what's happening here. Instead, I have a lot of interesting information. So I'm also going to grab the DOI because I think that could at some point be important. So my next step is to find this. Like I'm going to have to go figure out where it is. So there are a couple of things I can do. I can look for the journal, I could look for the title, or I could look for one of the articles, one of the authors. One of the authors is probably going to be kind of tricky. So I'm going to start with the title and then look for the journal. So look at this, journal and article search. I had to go to a different one. And now it wants me to log in. Yay, that's us. Okay, so it wants me to pick where I want to go. So let me think as we look at these possibilities. I'm leaning toward EBSCOhost because there are a lot of options here. So I'm scrolling down to EBSCO, and I'm going to select all of the things. So notice that it may slow down the response time, and it's going to look in all of these different sources through EBSCOhost book collection. EBSCOhost is one of those ones you start to find out the more research you do. So welcome to that world. I'm going to type this in. I'm just going to copy and paste it. Remember the title, and I'm going to say that this is the title, and I'm going to ask it to find it for me. The reason I'm giving you a couple of options is because I may or may not be able to find the article, and I may not be able to find it in full text. So I may not be able to find an actual copy. I may need to reach out to librarians. So it did find the article, yay, as we can look over here and see the info. But I'm not seeing a copy of it. So that's when we have to decide if we think we can reach out to the library and see about it. Like if I'm just really like I want that, a book is most likely going to take a week or two to get delivered to the library, but a journal article may, and this is something you want to talk to them about and be ready to let go if it's not going to work out. It may be photocopied by a participating library and then emailed to you. So it is something to consider. A lot of times that's how it works. So I clicked on interlibrary loan. Remember, I still have this link over here with all the info and the citation. And then I click on the interlibrary loan. I click on interlibrary loan form, and then it's going to ask me lots of questions. So it is an option, but right now I'm thinking, you know what, let's go back to Google Scholar and find something else. But I want to show you that idea. Google Scholar may or may not have full access. And then we have to figure out what we want to do with that. Do we want to go hunt something down? What is that looking like? Do not hesitate if you find like an article or something to just send me a quick link. As you can tell, it didn't take me forever, and I'm happy to look at that for you. But there are plenty of things, like for instance, if we want to look since 2020, we have all those same things, don't we? The times, include citations, like there are lots of good pieces here that we could get. Like for instance, this is a PDF, it says, so maybe. So it looks like this one, it has the citation that I like. Let's see if it has a copy. Right, this is from, I don't think they're going to have a copy here, but the same thing could happen again. We're going to take a copy of that. We're not going to do all of that to get that. We're going to go back to that EBSCOhost, and we're going to look for the title. And again, part of the reason you want to talk to the librarians is that there are 5 to 10 ways to get there from here. So I looked in EBSCOhost because it's a wide space to look across all sorts of things that we have for our school. But I could look for the journal and see if we have access to that journal. There are a couple of different things there. So I'm going to go over here actually. I'm going to go back to the library and see if I can get a hold of it by looking at maybe databases. I do like EBSCOhost. That's one that I just used a moment ago with EBSCOhost. I'm trying to think of sort of what area it fits into. But if I look at the subject, perhaps education. So you'll start to see that there are a lot of different features here. If you feel stuck, if you found a couple on something like Google search that you're like, oh, I want to read that. I want to, don't spend forever looking for these things because there are so many ins and outs to them, and just send this. So send me the link or send me all of that information like the citation. So if we go here to citations, then you can grab that citation and try to send it over. Let's see. I don't know what all it has right there for citations, but let's see if we can find the full article. Oh, there it was. I clicked the wrong spot. I needed cite this article. And then that's going to help you send it to me. So if you do this, it actually doesn't even give MLA as an option, but if you copy and paste that and send it to me, then I can help you find it.